Welcome to There Is a Method to the Madness. My name is Rob Maxwell, and I'm an exercise physiologist and personal trainer. I'm the owner of Maxwell's Fitness Programs, and I've been in business since 1994. That is a long time. All right, let's jump into the method to the madness today. Today's topic is on being hot, being sexy, looking good. Doesn't that sound like it's going to be fun? I think so. Before we jump into that topic, talking about looking good, Jonathan and Lyn Gildon at the Gildon Group at Realty Pros. They are some fit-looking individuals, and most importantly for you, they're out there to hustle and get you the place that you're looking for or sell the place that you're currently in. And in all seriousness, they're absolutely the best. I vouch for them at the Gildon Group at Realty Pros. They really are outstanding, and I will put their information on how to contact them into the show notes. All right. So when I first got into doing what I do professionally, I was speaking with another personal trainer. I'd maybe been doing this for a couple years, which back then it seemed like a really, really long time, but I was still so green at the time. And we were going back and forth on different things in personal training, and he'd been doing it for a while at this point. And he looked at me and he says, "You know, Rob, one thing I know for sure is everybody wants to look good and feel good." And I think that is absolutely true. There is no question about it. I think I've told this story before about when I worked at Stuart Marchman as a residential counselor for the kids in there that were suffering from alcoholism and drug addiction. And when I say kids, they were the adolescents. That was the wing that I worked in. And one of our rules was not, I guess I should say our rules, because I just worked there and helped keep the rules, but definitely understood the value of it. But one of the rules for the kids was that they had to always attempt to look their best, that it was very, very important for them to shower, to maintain good hygiene, to comb their hair, to brush their hair, to shave appropriately. I really don't remember our official ruling on the shaving, by the way. Unfortunately, we had to put, some sort of restrictions on razors and things like that. But I believe there was ways they could do that, and they had to do that. They had to make sure that they're dressed. They didn't have to wear a uniform, but they had to make sure that what they wore was not torn, didn't have, certain things written on it. They weren't allowed to write on themselves and things like that. So the reason is because it's been shown that people that attempt to look their best feel better about themselves. And as I like to say sometimes, if you can't move your mind, move your muscles. So it's important to at least act the part, fake it till you make it, so to say. So when they would get up in the morning, they had a regimen they had to follow, make their bed, so to say, and get ready to present themselves. And you definitely start noticing the kids that are starting to feel better are coming out with a better appearance and have just a better glow about them. So I absolutely believe that is very important. In Victor Frankl's famous book, Man's Search for Meaning, one of the things that he said he had control over all of the time. If you don't know this story, he was in a Nazi concentration camp, and through those experiences, he wrote the famous book, Man's Search for Meaning. If you have not read it, I suggest that you do. It's a masterpiece, no exaggeration, it literally is. And two things he said that he always had control over was to stand up straight and to shave. He said by doing that, he was not giving in to his tormentors, and he was going to put his best self forward at all times, and that was what he had control over. Stand up absolutely straight, shoulders back, and to shave and look his absolute best. So today's topic on looking hot, obviously I'm throwing that out there a little bit, as a joke, being a little funny, but not really. I mean, everybody wants to look better and feel better. And if we really, really got down to it, what people really want to do is look good, right? Both women and men want to say, I look hot, I look sexy, I look fit. Hopefully they say I want to look fit. But what I want everybody to understand is looking fit is looking hot. And that is something we all have control over. And too much emphasis on the scale all the time is just really the wrong idea. And more importantly, it's misguided. It's absolutely not true. Looking fit. How does anybody really guess somebody's body weight? Last I checked, when we see some of these men or women on TV, in commercials, at the movies, on stage, at your own local gym, whatever it might be, wherever you see these people, I don't think the first thing you ask yourself is, how much do they weigh? Maybe you do, but if you do, you're kind of like not looking at it very accurately. But I'm assuming most people just go, wow, they look fit, they look good, they look hot, right? So, I mean, what does that really mean? What does that mean? What does looking our best really, really mean? I know that there is different tastes for everybody. I totally get that. And, there should be. But how often is somebody not being fit? Like, not working at being fit, being at their worst physical condition. I mean, when is that ever a good thing? I don't think it is, right? And when is somebody being at their absolute best fitness-wise? And keep in mind, I'm talking fitness-wise. I'm not saying at their lightest, because that's not always sexy by any means. I'm saying their most fit. When is that ever a bad thing? I mean, I just can't think of an instance where that is true. And I think what we have to look at quite often is some of the myths and stereotypes around fitness and health. It has greatly changed in the last 2 decades. In the 1950s, and I put this in my first book, There's a Method to the Madness, I talked a little bit about the growth of physical fitness and the changes and things like that. But in the 1950s, the majority of health clubs out there weren't really health clubs. They were boxing gyms. And 99% of the people that utilized these centers were men. Now, we go to today, and there's been an exact reversal, not complete, not 99% women occupy the health clubs, but over 60% of all the people that go to gyms and health clubs in the United States are women. So it has drastically changed, and that's, a good thing. I mean, I guess you'd want it 50-50. I don't know. I mean, I've been doing this a long time, and I can absolutely state that my belief on that is that women take their health and fitness more serious than men do, and that's probably why it switched. But I also think there's been a major stereotype that has switched in the past 2-3 decades, and that's a great thing. I like to tell stories in my podcast because I think they make great points, and I know when I listen to podcasts, I like hearing stories too. So I can go back about 2 decades, maybe a little bit longer than that. Yeah, a little bit longer than that. And I was helping out at our local gym down in New Smyrna. I was like working out there a lot, and I would help out the owner when he left, which he seemed to a lot, and just kind of keep an eye on things for him. And one day I was there, and one of the guys who did a little bit of training back then personal training really was not an occupation back in these days in the 80s. I mean, it may have been elsewhere, but it wasn't in my small town. But one guy who was pretty good at working out, and I'd say he was in the bodybuilding and stuff, although he didn't compete, but he was known to be pretty strong and pretty buff and all this kind of stuff. He was kind of manning the gym a little bit too, but he was doing it more in the sense of if somebody wanted some training, he would pick them up and he would train them. So this poor lady came in from, I think it was next door or right around the corner, and she was a hairdresser. And I say poor lady because, man, she ran into the worst of this guy. He wasn't exactly always the nicest person on the planet. And she comes in and she says, I want to join the gym and everything, and I'm looking for some training, and but I don't want to get big. I don't want to get big. And I'm thinking, oh no, she didn't just say that, And sure enough, this guy who was big and doing some training, she's speaking to him. He wasn't known to have the best temper in the world, and he just hated hearing that, and he just teased off on her. And he says to her basically, you know how much money people spend on steroids and how much time they spend in the gym and how many hours they put into it. And I mean, he just reads her the riot act and all this stuff. And don't get me wrong, he was in the wrong, absolutely. I cringed when I heard it come out of her mouth because we all knew this guy wasn't exactly stable. And but basically she, hears him out and, wasn't exactly thrilled. And I don't remember what she did. I'm pretty sure she walked out of the gym and, never stepped foot back in it. And he was wrong. She was wrong. But let me explain why she was wrong, because that's the important part. He was wrong because he was just a wackadoo. She was wrong, and she didn't know that she was wrong. And that's what I want to clear up. So I believe that a big change in the way that women have thought about being hot, so to say, being attractive and all that, has come from the fact that muscles are now considered to be sexy for most people, right? Now, she wasn't wrong about her opinion. Don't get me wrong. She did absolutely nothing wrong in her statements. I'm just trying to talk about how there is a belief, a misconception. So that's what she was wrong about. There's a misconception on muscles and how they grow and all that kind of stuff. And I think people have gotten a little bit better hold on this, but not completely. Too many people think that if they go to the gym and work out on a modest exercise program with weights, that they're going to get unsightly muscles. Okay? Now, number one, I think that has changed a little bit. Like the more muscular builds on women and men aren't, men probably it's always been considered okay. But now in women, I think a lot of people are like, oh, that looks nice too. But so that's changing in the sense that it's becoming more okay. But the thing we need to get more people to understand is people just don't grow those kind of muscles from working out a few times a week, or even if they worked out every day for 2 hours, unless they had the genetics. So I think hopefully more and more people are learning that going to the gym isn't going to make you muscle bound or masculine, or however you want to put it. Like, it is greatly a genetic thing as to how people respond to weight training. I've already spoken at length. I don't mean to do that in this podcast because you might be listening to the podcast for the first time, but please go back and pull up the episode on genetics, and you can hear how, genetically speaking, people are geared towards having more muscle, medium muscle, or less muscle. And it's a very genetic thing. And even steroids don't change that. Steroids speed up the process for those that can already have larger muscles, but they don't create muscles in people that don't have larger muscle bellies and aren't mesomorphs, which are the muscular builds. Not going to happen. So if you are a 5'5", 107, 8 pound female with an ectomorphic frame, which means skinnier frame, please stop worrying about putting on muscle that you think might be unsightly. If anything, ladies, you're going to put on some muscle that's going to make you even more freaking sexy. Muscles are sexy. Muscles keep you younger. They're metabolic. Like when people look and say, wow, that person looks really fit, whether they're a male or a female, I personally don't say that and go, oh, I'm thinking that because they look to be about $120. No, I'm saying that because I'm like, wow, look at the definition in their legs. Look at those calf muscles, look at those glutes. Look at the tricep. She's wearing a sleeveless shirt and her arms look amazing. I mean, ladies, men, it looks good to have nice physical physiques, and that's not being overly vain. I mean, there's nothing wrong with trying to look your best. Now, trying to look somebody else's best is a problem, right? So looking at people on social media and going, oh, wow, so-and-so looks amazing, and you're not taking into account that you're seeing their absolute best 10 seconds of the day, most likely photoshopped and filtered in some way, shape, or form. Come on, we all know that, right? I mean, you're looking at the absolute best of them, of their 10 seconds, made up, photoshopped, filtered, and everything else. And if you're looking at that and comparing yourself to them, well, don't do that, all right? You need to stop doing that. But if you look in the mirror and you say, when I was working out, I really felt my best. My face looked better. My torso looked better. My legs looked better. Yes, that's the way we can and should be thinking, because you have absolute control over that. And let me tell you something. Strong ladies, strong gentlemen is sexy. Think of that. Think what strength really means. Think about it. We use strong as an adjective in so many different areas, right? He has strong character, right? She has strong values. He is strong in his stature. He has a strong looking physique. She looks very strong. We use strong. Strong is a good thing. Strong is sexy. Too skinny, hate to break it to you, ladies. Hey, everybody, to each his own, right? Everybody has their opinion on what looks good, and that is absolutely everybody's right. Who knows if you can even change that? But I'll just speak from experience. I don't think too skinny sexy. I don't think too skinny looks good. I don't really know any men that do. Okay. Now, women, I mean, only you know what you like, right? But I doubt any of you, I've never had a female friend of any regard or family member, sister, mom, whatever, ever go, oh, he's skinny, he's too skinny, and that's very attractive to me. I've never heard that. I've heard he's a little too skinny, he needs to put on some weight. And we've all heard he's too big and needs to lose some weight, right? So getting fit is really, I think, what we're all talking about, okay? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're out there going, not me. I don't think fit's very sexy. I don't think fit's very attractive. I think people out of shape is extremely attractive, or I think people way too skinny looking like they're not very well is attractive. Okay, maybe. I'm not going to change your mind on that. I don't even know if I'd want to. But, I don't think that's the norm. And I think that if that's the way you're thinking, you're just trying to play devil's advocate or something, because I don't know. It just doesn't really make sense. I think people that look well look their best, right? So, I'll wrap this up a little bit by just saying, we have extremes with our genders a little bit. Too often women are way too hard on themselves and try to get to a certain weight that's, maybe not healthy for them. And instead, they should be thinking about, how can I get more fit? How can I get more strong? How can I increase the tonicity in my arms? How can I get these nice legs? How can I get these calves popping in my heels? All these things, which are a lot more under your control, within your control than the scale, okay? Too often, though, men go the other direction, right? They think they're, giant beer belly that they've earned, and they laugh about it, from, a case of beer every weekend is sexy. Hey guys, it's not. I promise you, brother. It's really not. I mean, your significant others might be telling you that because they love you unconditionally, and they probably have just given up on you, but it's not healthy. It's not well. And too many times, guys say that jokingly, but they're not really joking, because they do absolutely nothing about it. And it's not sexy. It's not funny. It's not healthy. And of course there's a happy medium, right? I mean, I'm just saying that when you're morbidly obese and you're carrying that huge belly, and we call that android obesity, and it's the worst kind of obesity because it's the fat you're carrying around your midsection that's closest to your heart, and it increases your risk of cardiac disease. It's not sexy, brother. It's really not. And I know you make jokes, maybe because you're making jokes, maybe because you're feeling defensive and everything, but the reality is nobody finds it very attractive, and I doubt you really do either. And I'm sure you would feel 100% better if you just got on the road to fitness, got on the road to wellness, and really started working at it. All right. So sexy and hot comes from fitness, people. Comes from fitness. Quit worrying about the scale. Worry a lot more about how you feel about yourself. Worry a lot more about how you think you look in that nightgown, or dudes, how you think you look in those boxer briefs walking around the house, or dudes, how you think you look, not other people tell you, how you think you look when you go down to the beach, get ready to go surfing, pop off the shirt, you're in your baggies. How do you feel about yourself? Ladies, when you go to the beach and you put on your bathing suit, how do you feel about yourself? Throw that stupid scale away and start worrying about how you feel about yourself, how you think you look. Put your best foot forward. It's 100% within your control. Get to the gym 2 to 3 times a week at least and strength train. Get out and do your cardio on the other days. Whatever you enjoy, just get out and move. And then eat to the best of your abilities. Eat the way you know how to eat. It really is a simple formula. You just have to want it, man. You have to want it. So get out there and want it. And just remember, how you feel about yourself is going to carry over into every aspect of your life. And you want to talk about a fit person that can also help you do that. Chiropractic physician Dr. Doris Antos is the one for you. She's absolutely phenomenal. She's located in Ormond Beach on Granada, and she is fit. She works at it, and she's been doing this over 18 years, and she absolutely values wellness, absolutely values multiple modalities to help you, and she absolutely gets to know you as a patient, and I vouch for her. And just like our other sponsors, all of her information will be located in the show notes. Please give her a shout. Again, chiropractic physician Doris Antos of Ormond Beach. And until next time, stay sexy, ladies. Stay sexy, men. Be max fit and be max well.